mysteries of creation are there. In the sky. Up in the sky. The moon and the planets are there. And new hopes for knowledge and peace are there.
Hello and welcome to your Inner Journey weather forecast for the week of November 22nd through November 28th, which we utilize archetypal astrology to help you understand themes and energies that might show up in your psychedelic journeys this week and the psychedelic journeys of your clients and how to navigate them using archetypal astrology. Okay, so let's have a look at this week here. And we can see that this week actually is one of those rare weeks in which we are blessedly free from hard angle alignments between the planets. So we can see there's no exact hard angle alignments between the planets here. So that can mean that the week is slightly less dynamically challenging for our psychedelic journeys. And it can also mean that we have an opportunity here to explore some astrological phenomenon that are not having to do with astrological alignments between the planets, but yet are noteworthy and worth discussing. And one is that we just came off of a lunar eclipse in Taurus at the end of the week last week. And I'm curious how that was for everybody. Go ahead and put in the comments what your experience was like riding that lunar eclipse in Taurus at the end of last week. So lunar eclipses are large alignments that can be felt for some time beforehand, sometime afterwards. So we're still very much within the energy of the lunar eclipse during this week. And lunar eclipses are great opportunities to actually get in touch with the rhythm of the cosmos, because the lunar eclipse is a culminating energy, which actually has a culminating span that tends to reach back about 6 months or so since the last solar eclipse. So we had a solar eclipse in June, and we're now in a lunar eclipse. So it can, if there's projects, for instance, that you started in June, they might come to a culmination around this time. If there's, emotions, spiritual practices, themes that you've been exploring, that you started exploring at that time, they might be coming to a fruition around this time, which is great for getting in touch with the rhythm of the cosmos, with the sense that the cosmos has a kind of a wave to it, a rhythm, a kind of an undulating rhythm to it. We don't have to be responsible for doing everything. We can plant seeds, we can tend to the seeds, we can encourage them to grow, but nature plays its own role. There's a rhythm that nature has. It has its own rhythm. And it's great for us to be able to anticipate that, to be able to dance with that and synergize with that. And so that's a great opportunity. The lunar eclipse is a great opportunity to see this kind of mysterious rhythm of life, of nature, of the cosmos. For our psychedelic journeys, lunar eclipses can be very fruitful times because the position of the sun opposite the moon, the position of the moon opposite the sun is very exact, and that's great for emotions to really come up and out in also a kind of a culminatory manner. So if you started, for instance, 6 months ago in June, roughly around that time, exploring experiences and therapy or in psychedelic journeys, exploring emotions or exploring themes, during this time, they may come up and come fully to light, come fully into their culminating, fruiting resolution or definition. And so it's very dynamic time for psychedelic journeys. There can be a sense of actually accomplishing something, of actually having things come into that culmination. So the lunar eclipse, that's a great phenomenon to explore here. Another phenomenon of note, astrological phenomenon of note, is that we this week have entered into what's called the shadow orb of Venus retrograde. So the shadow orb of Venus retrograde means that all the themes and energies that have to do with love, friendship, beauty, art, value, all these Venusian things that align with the symbolism of Venus, they will be revisited now. Whatever is coming up now, currently, whatever themes we are experiencing along those lines, having to do with those sectors of life, friendship, love, value, money, what really matters to us personally, whatever's coming up now will be revisited and reconsidered over the next 3 months, over 3 months, until March 2nd of 2022, when Venus completes its complete retrograde cycle for this round. So how does that show up in psychedelic journeys? It shows up in psychedelic journeys as the confrontation with the exploration of what do we really value? What do we really value? What really matters to us in love, in friendship, in art, in beauty, having to do with money, finances. These are all Venusian things. What really matters to us. Our last Venus retrograde began in May of 2020. That was a time in which there was a rash of protests having to do with the Black Lives Matter movement. And so we can see that when Venus went retrograde, collectively, there was a wrestling with what really matters. Black Lives Matter. That has a Venusian angle to it because there's a sense of an exploration of culturally and collectively of what really matters. What do we really value? So that's how the Venus retrograde can show up collectively. Again, we're entering into it. So collectively, culturally, there's another chance to explore what really matters to us. What do we really value? Individually, it's that same exploration, whether in psychedelic journeys or not. What do we really value? What really matters to us? And psychedelic journeys is just all the more an opportunity to dive deep and have this conversation with yourself. So these are two astrological phenomenons that are over this time period that are worth exploring now that we don't have any hard alignments this week. It's great to take some time to explore other astrological phenomenon. So if you're interested in learning how archetypal astrology works and how it can reveal your unique superpowers, check out the links below. If you're interested in how these alignments that we've been talking about will affect you personally, also check out the links below. So thank you so much for joining us here on Your Inner Journey Weather Forecast. And we look very much forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you.